How are you? How excited are you? Is this any different to 3 years ago with the final?
No, I think, listen, it's a final. We can't take anything away from that, but we have to approach it as we've approached every game. We're approaching it to win, and we're approaching it to do something that no senior men's team have done since 1966.
It's going to be your 90th cap as well. Very special to walk out in Berlin, earning that in a European final at the same time. It's been such a journey to get here, hasn't it, for you?
Yeah, it's been crazy. I think football's a crazy game, so it just kind of ties in with that. But you know, hopefully, if selected, as we're still working on the team and everything like that, if selected, that I get my first cap against Spain all them years back, and now my 90th cap in a European Championship final is against Spain as well. So hopefully it's one to remember.
Feels like it's gone full circle a little bit. I still remember sitting down and talking to you after you'd been sent off against Iceland, that 49, you thought you might be 49 not out, and we spoke afterwards. You were delighted to get your 50th.
Yeah, that was the milestone that I always wanted to achieve, is 50 caps. To then go and obviously hopefully achieve another 40 more is fantastic for me personally. But I'm not in a solo sport, I'm in a team sport, so I take away all the caps to make sure that this team, you know, wins something, because I feel that we deserve it as a group of lads. We've been nearly there, we've been through some tough times together, you know, especially the older ones that have, you know, had to go through the dark days against Iceland in France, to then now we're sat here now where we've played the semi-final, third in the, you know, in the what's it called, Nations League, and then 2 European Championship finals. So fingers crossed we can go and put the icing on the cake now.
Yeah, how desperate are you to do that, having been so close? And would you describe this as the best era ever in English football, bearing in mind all the accolades you've just listed there of what you've achieved?
It's hard to say that, because as a football fan, you grow up watching your idols, and you know, we'll say the golden generation. When I look at that, there were some unbelievable players, but they didn't achieve what we've achieved. Maybe when I finish football and I look back at it, I'd see what a great bunch of lads that I've actually played with, and had the pleasure to play with. But again, we need to go on and, you know, win something for us to be considered as probably one of the best England teams to ever put on the shirt.
You always talk about the team and the collective, and so many players that were involved in that 2021 European final that aren't here. Have you spoken to any of them? Are any of them going to come out and support?
Yeah. I've heard some of them have coming out to support us, which is, I think, shows great credit to them as, you know, as an individual. Obviously, not being here is always a big disappointment, but I think that shows just the togetherness that we have, where they still want us to come and support. I know a lot of players would probably be sat at home sulking, thinking, I wish I was there, but they want to share that moment. And listen, if we win, I'm sure they'll be in the dressing room celebrating with us as well, because they deserve it and they've been a part of this.
I can imagine the players that you're talking about, but do you know who's coming out? Are you able to tell us?
I've heard, but I'm not 100% sure, so
okay.
I won't want to throw names out there just in case
That's fair enough.
They don't turn up then.
I look forward to peeking my head around the dressing room and seeing them celebrating with you, because they would certainly deserve it, that's for sure. It feels like you've shown huge resilience in this tournament. I mean, you have. It doesn't seem like it. You have, without a doubt. How's the journey been for you from the beginning, the outside noise, to then this point that you're going to have on Sunday?
I think as England, you're always going to get scrutiny. You know, you're always going to have a lot of things to deal with the media. That's just part and parcel of what we do in our job. And you have to put it into a box. What we have to concentrate on is what's at the base camp. You know, when we go into them 4 walls and we do our training sessions, obviously, and the downtime that we get, there's a lot of downtime. The bonds that we're creating, the different people or players that I'm seeing gelling together, and you're thinking, how is that coming together? That you form groups, you form partnerships, you form friendships, and hopefully we can form a team now that's going to go on to do something really special. I think the other night summed it up incredibly well, where Ollie came on for the first game, hasn't kicked a ball until coming on and scoring the goal that puts us into the final. It says everything about his, determination, his desire, his work ethic, and that could be someone else. I always say it's not starters and people on the bench, it's starters and finishers, because then finishers can go and win things.
Yeah, maybe that's a partnership we didn't see, Cole Palmer and Ollie Watkins, and I'm here for that for sure. There's quite a few, aren't there?
I've seen your interview with Cole, so that made me chuckle.
He was literally lying on the chair. It was, but it was fun. It was more fun than I thought. He was going to ruin me for 10 minutes. I'm not going to lie. He was really good fun. I want to talk about your manager actually, because you've been alongside Gareth Southgate for a long time now. Kept faith in you. We talked about Iceland and previously. How much of a difference has he made? How much is he the reason, or is he the reason that you're all here again, walking into a major final on Sunday?
I think everyone associated over the last 7 years of him taking control is the reason that we're here. He always says, and I think it's a vital moment, that the Joe Hart save of his first game in charge, or was it his second game in charge, if Joe doesn't pull that save, does he get the job? Things happen in football, and certain scenarios play out that it's kind of your destiny. Now, from when he's come on, come into the fold, he's put his own stamp. I think the togetherness has been a massive, massive part, because we're all great players. We're playing the great league, and we all play for top teams. But to gel and take that club hat off and put your England hat on in normal circumstance or past, players has been hard. But I think he's done that tremendously well, and he deserves full credit for it.
A short one on this, because it's a news line today, but I don't think it's the right time to talk about it, because you've got Sunday, which is way more important. But whether he stays on or not, I know that you as players helped persuade him, as his family did, and others, and Steve Holland, to stay after what happened in Qatar. His contract runs out in December. Does England function without Gareth Southgate? How much would you want him to stay?
He decides his own destiny. I think he's earned the right to decide what he wants to do. Not many managers can say they've achieved in an England shirt, what he's achieved. So whatever Gareth would like to do, that's down to him. He's convinced me to carry on after Qatar. So maybe I might return or ask for the favour back for him to carry on. But again, he's the boss, he's the gaffer, and he deserves to make sure that he decides his own destiny.
Let's talk Spain. First and foremost, quick question. Are you quicker than Nico Williams?
Good question. I've seen him run the other day, and I've never seen something so quick. So I'll have to give him the respect, as I do every player, but hopefully he gives me the respect as well, that we've both earned, playing the game of football, and it'll be a good test. Obviously, the team has not been mentioned or anything now, but if I am selected, I'll give it my all, and especially in the European Championship final.
Lamine Yamal as well has lit up this tournament. He's been incredible. The question is whether his goal or Jude Bellingham's goal is the goal of the tournament so far.
I think it's a bit of a toss-up, isn't it, really? But for a 16-year-old to produce what he's producing is outstanding. I won't mind him to have an off game for the next game, but I feel that the defenders that we've got, they can cope with him, definitely. And that's their challenge that they have to bring to themselves as well. Playing against probably one of the best players in the tournament at the minute, and that's the games that you want to play as. Definitely as a fullback, you want to come up against the best.
Have you ever wanted to ruin someone's 17th birthday more?
Is it his birthday as
It's
well?
his birthday on the Saturday. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Turns 17.
Well, happy birthday for Saturday, but we play on Sunday, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Obviously, Rodri is a player that you know really well. What is the key to stopping him? He's the engine room.
Well, listen, he's a great player. He's a great player and he controls the game, dictates the game, you know, at his pace, as I know at club level. But, you know, we've seen video clips. I know him, you know, first and foremost. There's weaknesses in everyone's game. No one's the perfect article. So we need to try and exploit them weaknesses as best as we can and get the players that we have in dangerous areas to go and make sure that they can score the goals. And as defence, we need to, you know, keep a clean sheet.
Just finally, before we do our social feature, what would it mean to you, Kyle, to lift that European Championship trophy on Sunday?
I was saying to H this morning, not all the trophies that I won for Manchester City. I'd like to keep one of each, but every other one I'd quite happily swap for this, more without a question. Give it you now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hope that's the case.
Fingers crossed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brilliant.